government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Abraham Lincoln. Dear students, how are you? Hope you are well by the grace of Almighty Allah. Today, I am going to take a class for the students of Honors First Year, Department of English, course, Introduction to Prose, Fiction and Non-Fiction, topic, Gettysburg Address. Let's start our class. Dear students, I am Mahmudul Hassan Masood, lecturer, Department of English, Narshindi Government College, Narshindi. This class has been designed for the students of Honors First Year, whose title Introduction to Prose, Fiction and Non-Fiction, topic Gettysburg Address. Dear students, I am going to take 2 classes on Gettysburg Address so that you can easily understand all the aspects of the text. In my class, I am going to discuss the following topics: historical background of Gettysburg Address, American Civil War, the Battle of Gettysburg, the Gettysburg Address, and important questions. These are the areas I'll try to cover in my class. Class 1. Today I'm going to take Class 1 on Gettysburg Address. In my Class 1, I'm going to discuss the following topics: historical background of Gettysburg Address, American Civil War, and Battle of Gettysburg. Actually, for your better understanding about Gettysburg Address, you have to know the historical backgrounds, the incidents that led to the Gettysburg Address, a famous address delivered by Abraham Lincoln. So you have to know some important facts about American Civil War and the Battle of Gettysburg. The Battle of Gettysburg is also a part of American Civil War. Gettysburg Address. Dear students, in this slide, I'm going to give you some information, very important information about Gettysburg Address. Gettysburg Address is a famous speech or public address delivered by Abraham Lincoln on November 19, 1863 in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Gettysburg battlefield is situated in Pennsylvania State, USA. The Battle of Gettysburg occurred from July 1st to July 3rd, 1863, in and around the town of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. It was among the bloodiest and grimest of the battles of the American Civil War. Gettysburg Address was delivered by Abraham Lincoln at the dedication of the Soldiers' National Cemetery at Gettysburg on the afternoon of Thursday, November 19, 1863, during the American Civil War. Gettysburg Address by Abraham Lincoln is historically famous because it redefined the American nation, guaranteed liberty and equality for all its citizens, and strengthened its solidarity and unity to save the country from disintegration. So, dear students, Gettysburg Address is a famous speech in the world history, in the history of America. This speech or this address is delivered by Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of United States of America. This speech was delivered during the American Civil War on 19 November 1863. And Abraham Lincoln delivered this famous speech at the dedication of the Soldiers' National Cemetery at Gettysburg. This speech is very important, historically very famous, because it has changed the course of American history. This speech has redefined, has guaranteed liberty and equality for all the citizens of America. It has redefined the American nation. It has strengthened solidarity and unity among the people of America. And this speech, this famous speech, has saved American nation from disintegration. So this is a very famous, historically very famous speech. Before going to the main text, we have to know about the historical background of Gettysburg Address. What are the incidents? What are the occurrences? What are the causes for which Abraham Lincoln delivered his famous Gettysburg Address? There are many reasons, there are many causes of American Civil War and the Battle of Gettysburg also, which actually led to the famous speech of Abraham Lincoln Gettysburg Address. So if you want to understand the text very well, you have to know the historical background of Gettysburg Address. For this, I'm going to discuss American Civil War and the Battle of Gettysburg here. At first, I'm going to say something about American Civil War that occurred from 1861 to 1865. The American Civil War. Flags of two opposing forces are shown here. The American Civil War. The American Civil War was a civil war in the United States from 1861 to 1865, fought between northern states loyal to the Union and southern states that had seceded from the Union to form the Confederate States of America. The Civil War began primarily as a result of the long-standing controversy over the enslavement of Black people. So here we can see the American Civil War was a war among the states of America, which occurred from 1861 to 1865. There were two opposing forces who participated in the American Civil War: the Union forces and the Confederate States of America, the Confederacy. So the Union forces are loyal to the northern forces were loyal to the Union, and the southern states had seceded from the Union. They declared war. They wanted to separate from the United States of America. And the main issue of American Civil War was the issue of slavery. It was a long-standing controversy over the enslavement of black people in America. The Union forces, led by Abraham Lincoln, wanted to abolish slavery from America. On the contrary, the Confederate States or the Confederacy, they wanted to retain slavery in different states of America. That is the main reason for which initially, primarily, the American Civil War started. So, dear students, here I'm going to give you some very important information about American Civil War. The war began on April 12, 1861. The war began when the Confederates bombarded Union soldiers at Fort Sumter, South Carolina on April 12, 1861. War ended on May 13, 1865. The last battle was fought at Palmetto Ranch, Texas on May 13, 1865. Location: the American Civil War was fought all across the United States of America, particularly Southern United States, Northern United States, Western United States, and Atlantic Ocean are the areas where the war was fought. Belligerents, as I have mentioned earlier, two opposing forces participated in the American Civil War. United States, the Union, which was loyal to the Constitution of America, and the Confederate States, the Confederacy. Commanders and leaders. For United States, Abraham Lincoln, Ulysses S. Grant, and others led in the war. For Confederate States, Jefferson Davis, Robert E. Lee, and others led the Confederacy in the American Civil War. Causes of war. There are some causes of the war. The most important one is, the most crucial issue is the issue of slavery. Then territorial crisis, states' rights, sectionalism, protectionism, nationalism and honor, Lincoln's election. These are the main causes which led the states of America into a great civil war. More facts about the American Civil War. Number of battles fought. About 10,500 battles and engagements were fought in the American Civil War. Bloodiest battle. Among the battles of American Civil War, the Battle of Gettysburg was the bloodiest battle, and 51,000 casualties occurred. 51,000 people, soldiers, were killed and got injured in the Battle of Gettysburg. Soldiers fought in the Civil War. 21,28,948 soldiers fought for the United States or for the Union, and 10,82,119 soldiers fought for the Confederate States or the Confederacy. State forts for the Union, 21 states fought for the Union. States fought for the Confederacy, 11 states of America fought for the Confederacy. Soldiers are buried where they fell on the battlefield. Result: Of course, Union victory. The Union forces became victorious in the American Civil War. As a result, dissolution of the Confederate States occurred, US territorial integrity preserved, slavery abolished from the land of America, beginning of the Reconstruction era in America, passage and ratification of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments to the Constitution of the United States. So the most important one is abolition of slavery from the United States. You know, the issue of slavery was the main cause for which the states of America fought the American Civil War. The northern states wanted to abolish slavery from the soil of America. On the contrary, the southern states wanted to retain slavery. So the American Civil War occurred. Casualties: approximately 620,000 soldiers died in the American Civil War from combat, accident, starvation, and disease during the Civil War. Students, here you can see the two leaders of the American Civil War. From my left, you can see the picture of Abraham Lincoln, who is the leader of the Union forces. Abraham Lincoln was the 16th president of America. He is well known for his leadership during the American Civil War. He actually wanted to abolish slavery from the soil of the United States. He also wanted to preserve the unity, the union between the people of America. And he signed the Emancipation Proclamation, an executive order changing the legal status of the slaves to free. He actually led Union forces into victory, and he preserved the unity, he preserved the union, he preserved America from getting disintegrated. But unfortunately, Abraham Lincoln was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth on 15 April 1865. But his reputation is sealed in the history of America as well as in the world history as a great leader. Then you can see Jefferson Davis. Jefferson Davis led the Confederate forces into the Civil War. He wanted to retain slavery in the states of America. Now I'm going to show you some pictures of the American Civil War. Here you can see Abraham Lincoln, the leader of the Union forces, is giving some suggestion to his soldiers in the battlefield. In this picture, you can see soldiers are waiting for going to a fight. Another picture taken from the battlefield of the American Civil War. A fierce fighting is going on between the soldiers of the two opposing forces. and the picture of the American Civil War. Soldiers are fighting for their side. Really horrible fighting is going on. Each side, soldiers of each side are killing the soldiers of other side. Soldiers are taking treatment. I think they are wounded soldiers. They are hopeless. They don't know what to do. They only know to fight. They have to fight. Soldiers lying dead. Really a horrible picture. Really very pathetic picture. The Battle of Gettysburg. The Battle of Gettysburg was fought July 1st to July 3rd, 1863, in and around the town of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, by Union and Confederate forces during the American Civil War. So the Battle of Gettysburg is a part of American Civil War. You should have a very clear idea about it. The Battle of Gettysburg was a part of American Civil War. It was fought during the Civil War. It was fought July 1st to July 3rd, 1863. The battle is called the Battle of Gettysburg because it was fought in and around the town of Gettysburg in Pennsylvania state. The battle involved the largest number of casualties of the entire war and is often described as the war's turning point. Very important battle for the Union forces. They won the battle and they won the American Civil War. So it is very important, very turning point for the American Civil War. Union Major General George Meade's Army of the Potomac defeated attacks by Confederate General Robert E. Lee's Army of the Northern Virginia, halting Lee's invasion of the North. I'm going to give you some information, some important information about the Battle of Gettysburg. Date, July 1st to July 3rd, 1863. The Battle of Gettysburg was fought from July 1st to July 3rd, 1863. Location, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, USA. The war was fought in and around the town of Gettysburg. Belligerents, two opposing forces were there. The United States, the Union, and the Confederate States, the Confederacy. Commanders and leaders, United States, George G. Meade and others. For United States, George G. Meade and others led the war. For Confederate States or the Confederacy, Robert E. Lee and others led in the war. Units involved, Army of the Potomac for United States, Army of Northern Virginia for Confederate States. More information about the Battle of Gettysburg. Soldiers fought in the Battle of Gettysburg, 104,256 for the Army of the Potomac, and 71,000 to 75,000 soldiers fought for the Army of the Northern Virginia. Result, Union victory. Union forces won the battle. Casualties, between 46,000 to 51,000 soldiers were killed and wounded in the Battle of Gettysburg. The Battle of Gettysburg is considered the bloodiest and the grimmest battle of the American Civil War. The battle led to the Gettysburg Address, in which Abraham Lincoln redefined the Civil War as a struggle for freedom and democracy. So, the Battle of Gettysburg led to the Gettysburg Address. Abraham Lincoln delivered his famous address, Gettysburg Address, in which he redefined the Civil War as a struggle for freedom and democracy for the American people. To leaders of the Battle of Gettysburg. From my left, you can see George G. Meade. He was the leader of the Union force in the Battle of Gettysburg. And from my right, you can see Robert E. Lee. He was the leader of the Confederate force, the Confederacy force in the Battle of the Gettysburg. Now I'm going to show you some pictures of the Battle of Gettysburg. Here you can see soldiers have gathered at the battlefield of Gettysburg. In this slide, you can see soldiers are involved in a deadly fighting. Another picture for you. Soldiers are fighting. They're killing one another. Another picture, you can see the large battlefield of Gettysburg. The battle is going on. The fight is going on. A horrible fight is going on. From this picture, you can see the large battlefield of Gettysburg. The soldiers are engaged in fighting with each other. Another picture for you. It shows the deadly fighting, deadly battle that is going on at the battlefield of Gettysburg. Dear students, now I'm going to show you a short video on the Battle of Gettysburg. I hope this video will help you to get more information about the Battle of Gettysburg.
In June of 1863, Confederate General Robert E. Lee took his Army of Northern Virginia into the North for the second time. The Union commander, George Gordon Meade, was in pursuit. They would ultimately bump into each other here at Gettysburg. Behind me is the town of Gettysburg, around which the Battle of Gettysburg will be fought. The Battle of Gettysburg started by accident. Literally, troops bumped into each other. General Lee heard that Meade was pursuing him, and Lee concentrated his army. The Union vanguard is already here as well, and they're going to bang into each other north and west of town on the Persons Ridge. It's an intense fight. Ultimately, the fight will grow until north of town. You're going to have the Union 11th Corps fighting against the Corps under a guy named Richard Ewell. In the end, you're going to have 30,000 Confederates outflank and with 18,000 Union troops who retreat back through town to Cemetery Hill and to Culp's Hill, where we stand now. And for the next 24 hours, all that happens is that both sides bring the remainder of their troops here until the Yankees have maybe 90,000 troops and the Southerners have maybe 70,000 troops. And the Yankees form in the shape of a fishhook. And we are right here on this fishhook at the end of Culp's Hill here. The Union line will continue along Cemetery Hill behind me, Cemetery Ridge, and eventually end over on Little Round Top. The Southerners line up around that line, basically formed on the most distant tree line you can see way off in the distance, okay? If General Lee needs to go from one side of his army to the other, it's 6 miles. Meade only has to go 2.5. Meade is also on the defensive. Meade has more men on a more compact line, and Lee is more strung out, and Meade finally has the home field advantage. On the second day of the battle, Robert E. Lee decided to take 15,000, 20,000 troops under James Longstreet and attack the Union left, and take maybe 5,000 to 10,000 and attack Culp's Hill. But the attack on the Union left flank took place first. The Southerners are going to have to get over there without being seen opposite the Union line. Ultimately, the Southern line will attack what's called an echelon, where a couple of brigades move in, and then a couple more, and a couple more, and ultimately, Longstreet's men will make fierce attacks. First, they'll fight at Devil's Den and Little Round Top, and then onto the wheat field. And then they actually have found a gap in the middle of the Union line, troops that had gone to reinforce some of the fighting in other areas. But the Confederates can't quite push through it, because wherever they show up, Union reinforcements from inside Meade's strong official position arrive and push the Southerners back. Ultimately, the bloodiest fighting at Gettysburg, the second day on the south end, will come to a close without a decisive result. And while Longstreet is attacking the Union left flank, the Confederates are beginning a huge artillery bombardment on the Union right flank, here on Culp's Hill. That bombardment wouldn't do anything. The Confederate attack doesn't come for long, until long after, actually, the fighting on the Union left flank is mostly over. Ultimately, the Southerners will try to attack East Cemetery Hill. They capture part of East Cemetery Hill. They capture 9 cannons. This is the key Union position at East Cemetery Hill, and it's about to fall to the Confederates. But again, Union reinforcements push the Confederates back. The Confederates have a little bit more success here on Culp's Hill. Culp's Hill consists of 2 hills, an upper hill and a lower hill. This is night fighting, very odd in the Civil War. The Confederates easily capture the lower hill, but they're unable to capture the pinnacle of Culp's Hill. The next day, the fighting resumes, where the Confederates try to capture Upper Culp's Hill. The Yankees return with even more reinforcements, not only recapturing their old trenches in Lower Culp's Hill that they had lost, but maintaining their possession of Upper Culp's Hill. On the third day, having already tested the Union left flank and the Union right flank, the Confederates opted to attack the Union center. And this is what we now know as Pickett's Charge. Pickett's Charge is going to take place in the fields behind me, and on the afternoon of July 3rd, you're eventually going to have a great moan go up from the Union line. This is after a huge artillery bombardment. But the moan comes not from that, but rather from the beauty and pageantry of a great Confederate assault. 12,000 troops advancing across that field, you can see over my shoulder. The Yankees decimated with long-range artillery. And as they reach the road, Union reinforcements pour to the area. The Union flank falls out, and the Confederates are going to get flanked. But nonetheless, they push on impetuously, gain some of the key stone wall in the area. The Yankees are able to, however, push them back. 6,000 of the 12,000 soldiers who made the attack were killed, wounded, or captured. Lee lost 23 battle flags in that attack, more than he'd lost up to that point in the war combined. Robert E. Lee horribly failed in Pickett's Charge, but the next day he still stayed here through the rain across the field, faced George Gordon Meade, said, "Come on, Meade, attack." Meade did not take the bait. That night, Robert E. Lee pulled back through the mountain. 9 days later, escaped back into Virginia. The Civil War goes on for almost 2 more years.
So dear students, hope this video will help you to understand the Gettysburg Address better. So thank you very much for watching me. My class concludes here. Of course, don't forget to watch my next class. Don't forget to join in my next class, class 2 on Gettysburg Address. I think this class will be more enjoyable. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining me.